Hey everyone, it's Gamefruitpulp and welcome back to another Minecraft Building Toronto episode. Today I'm really excited to share a newly completed build with you guys, one that was actually completed by myself, which is unfortunately a rare occurrence these days on the map, but I completed a build with Starbound and I'm really happy with how it turned out, and it's a pretty historic build as well, so thought it'd be a good video to share with you guys. There's quite a bit I want to go over today, so this might be a little bit of a longer video, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you do enjoy the video and you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Helps make sure that you catch future content on the channel and never miss out on any of our latest uploads and completions on the map. So, today we're going to be taking a look at Adelaide Court, which is located at 57 Adelaide Street East in the east end of our map. Quite a bit of history on this build, and I'm really excited to go over it with you guys. But first, before we do that, I want to touch on a couple great comments from the last Building Toronto video. For those of you who don't know, I ask a question at the end of every Building Toronto video, so stay tuned for that at the end. And I feature one or two of the best comments in response in the next video. So, the last video's comments, the question was, what is your favorite style of condo and what is your favorite condo in the city of Toronto? And those two really great responses, so I'm going to feature both of them today. The first is from Is It Really Canna? He's a longtime subscriber on the channel, and thank you for the great comment. So his comment said, I like almost any condominium tower style out there, whether it would be an all-glass tower or a traditional Scarborough 70s apartment. I like the glass towers a lot because I like the effect of all the lights it gives out at night from all the individual rooms. On a Scarborough apartment, you don't really get that effect as glass is not present on the entire building. My favorite condo complex in Toronto would probably be the ICE condos. They look splendid in the Toronto skyline, but they also look very premium. The flowing and modern design, like the Market Wharf condo, makes it look extremely premium and a nice place to stay as well. Thank you for the great comment. And then the second comment I want to feature, and I've chosen to feature both of them, is because they're a little bit of a contrast, which shows one of the great things about Toronto, that there's a little bit of everything to offer. And so this comment is from DriftTube, who's a long time subscriber on the channel. I feel like it has been 3 years since I've been subscribed on the channel, so thank you for your long time support. I like traditional condos in the city because they bring out the classical era of the city. Toronto has a lot of underappreciated class, and so I believe it needs to be said. My favorite would have to be 1 King West or 88th Scott. Both are very contemporary designs. The bottom brings out the facades of the very old buildings, even if the old parts were rebuilt, and I believe that you did an amazing job of recreating this on the project. Keep up the great work. So thank you for the great comment and for the kind words, DriftTube, and like I said before, be sure to stay tuned to the end of the video for this video's question of the video. So jumping into our build, as I mentioned, this build was done in combination by myself and Starbound. Star is very good at the older classical style builds, and so I asked for his help and he was happy to oblige, so thank you, Star, for your assistance. Located at 57 Adelaide Street East, the York County Courthouse was designed and built in 1852 by Cumberland and Rideau, who also built the St. James Cathedral and many other fine Toronto buildings. The courthouse was the third to serve the city of Toronto and has seen many historic events with both local and national significance. Completed in 1852, the structure housed the county court, the county treasurer, the clerk of the council, the division court, and the clerk of the peace and the sheriff. The building that eventually became known as Adelaide Courthouse served as the center of Toronto justice for half a century. Located behind the courthouse is Court Square and Park, a pleasant small garden with several small trees, including several white pine, an arboreal emblem of Ontario. The square was once the site of several executions, with the last public hanging in 1905. Today, people dine or quietly relax under the trees. Before going into more details about the building, I found this neat article from the early 1900s that I want to share with you guys today, and I think it's a good segue for you guys who enjoy the history of Toronto to download a pretty interesting app. This is not like a plug. This is not sponsored. I just found this, and I don't want to take someone's content and not give them some advertising. So this is a story, like I said, an older story from I believe the beginning of the 1900s, entitled "The Last Public Hanging in Toronto." This text is from the free Toronto in Time app, which is created by the Canadian Encyclopedia and is available for the App Store and the Google Play Store. Visit its companion website, which is Canadian. I'll link it in the description down below, and you can check out all the features of the app online. On the morning of March 10, 1862, a crowd gathered outside the Toronto County Magistrates Court to await the arrival of James Brown at the scaffold. Brown was sentenced to hang for his role in the death of a journalist and politician, John Sheridan Hogan, during an attack by the dreaded Brooks Bush Gang in December of 1859. After a night of prayer and a breakfast of coffee and cake, Brown asked a clergyman to find the woman he lived with and urge her to turn away from her sinful ways. At 9:45 a.m., the sheriff arrived to lead Brown to the scaffold, where the condemned man proclaimed his innocence despite having been, quote, a very bad man. At 10 a.m., Brown became the last man to be hanged in public in Toronto. Built in the early 1850s, the building that eventually became known as Adelaide Court served as the center of Toronto justice for half a century. Between 1909 and 1920, it housed the Arts and Letters Club, where the members of the Group of Seven first came together. So like I said, that was from the Toronto in Time map built by the Canadian Encyclopedia. Be sure to check that out for yourself. Lots of great history available to be read there. And I think that I chose to feature this article because I think it just showcases, I think this might be the most historic build we've built on the map. And you wouldn't realize it when you were walking by. So the building itself is 10 meters tall, 3 floors, and was designated under Part 4 and 5 of the Ontario Heritage Act. So it is obviously a heritage building. Today it houses an Italian restaurant, Tironi, which has a few locations in downtown Toronto and a spin-off location that we've actually built already on Yonge Street. I think it's Yonge Street, called Sud Forno, which is also owned by them. I want to read a little bit, because I mentioned this earlier. Especially during COVID, I want to try and showcase these restaurants that we're building, simply because they're having a tough time, obviously, like a lot of people. And so if you live in the area, maybe you didn't know about the restaurants, so I wanted to showcase them as well. So the last thing we're going to talk about before talking about our take on the build is going to be a little bit of info about Tironi. So, located at 57 Adelaide Street East, Tironi, Adelaide is housed inside the historic York County Courthouse, which served as the city's courthouse from 1852 to 1900. Just inside the front doors is an enoteca, a great spot to stop in for cocktails after a busy day. Beyond that is the spectacular dining room, with a sunlit atrium and fireplaces on each end. The atrium on one side and the open kitchen on the other. We offer a great selection of spaces for private functions at this location. Whether you're looking to host an intimate dinner for a small group, a large wedding, or a corporate event for up to 350, we have 4 levels of unique event space for you to choose from. The Covo, this is going to be butchered. The Covo degli Artisti is our recently opened hidden gem located on the 3rd floor. This is a cozy lounge space perfect for an array of cocktail-style events. In the summer months, come visit our secret lush garden, where you will enjoy an unforgettable alfresco dining experience in the heart of the city. So again, that's a little bit of info about Tironi, and that's what we've captured, or done our best to capture in our build today. Looking at the build itself, Star and I tried our best to capture the interior of the first floor and the basement as accurately as we could. And I think we did a pretty good job. We found a walkthrough of the building from 2017, and we built based off that. So a lot of the building style features are present and available there, which is really, really great. So when we're looking at the build, something I want to start doing going a little bit forward is adding a little bit of more interactivity for you guys to do. Starting in the basement and the main floor, you don't get much of that, but when you move up to the 2nd and 3rd floor of the building, there's a little bit more to see, or a little bit more to do, I should say. So the basement, I built myself. I captured it as accurately as I could based on photos I found of the basement. We built in a little wine cellar because I couldn't figure out what else to put, but I tried my best to capture the pattern, the checkered pattern of the floor, a nice little fireplace in the middle of the stairs, and then sort of like an intimate dining experience that you would get at Tironi. I've actually been there. It's quite good. I recommend going. We make some good food there. Moving up to the main floor, this is where a lot of our work and time on this build went. We did our best to sort of capture all the little nooks and crannies of this build. When you enter, you have the little cocktail area, you have the place with the hanging meats, which we've represented by a raw chicken and a cooked, is that chicken? I don't know what that is. Cooked rabbit. And then we have obviously the private rooms to the right, and then you go into the main area. You have a way to the atrium with the high skylight and some of the decorations that are depicted in the building we looked at. We have the main seating area with the 2 fireplaces. We have the kitchen, which is open air, and we'll see right into it from the dining area. And then in the back, we have the 2 private dining room spaces as well. So that's the main floor and the basement. And then we sort of decided to have a little fun with the 2nd and 3rd floor, make it a little bit more interactive. So when you move upstairs, I don't want to spoil too much. because obviously I want you guys to check it out for yourself. The server is public. It can be viewed at aneasycraft.net. And we're soon going to be splitting up our Townie and Toronto world so that you can join each individually. And then once that's done, the IP for the Toronto server specifically is going to be toronto.aneasycraft.net. So I encourage you to come on and check out the second and third floor for yourself. When you join the server, to get to the map, all you have to do is do work Toronto. And like I said, we added some interactive stuff on the second and third floor. There's a quest NPC. There's some little gizmos. There's some good laughs to be had with some of the stuff we did. We had a little bit of fun building it, mainly as a sort of de-stressor for the fact that it was extremely difficult to build the main floor accurately, and we wanted to make sure it looked really, really good. But looking back on this build, I think I'm maybe the most happy I've ever been on completing a build. When I look at this build, it was something that I challenged myself to complete. I'm not the best traditional style builder. I think I'm better at building modern design, and I think that it shows my development as a builder throughout the time on this project, that I was able to complete this. When you look at some of the older traditional things I've built versus this, Star helped with some of the detail work, but I hope the Star doesn't find this offensive, but I think I did most of the exterior work myself, and Star was really helpful in giving me some recommendations and giving me some tips because he's one of the best traditional builders I know. But most of the exterior I did myself, and I'm pretty proud of it. I'm proud that how it turned out. Star worked on the back facade and I worked on the front and the roof, and he did a great job on the rear of the building. And obviously we have the park, which I'm going to be looking at differently anytime I see it now, because I didn't realize that there was public hangings in this park, but there was. So that's that really. But yeah, I'm really happy with how the build turned out, and I hope you guys think that it turned out well as well. So that is going to be everything for the building content wise in the future, or building content wise. The last thing remaining, of course, is our question of the day for this video, and this one's going to be a little bit different. The other questions I've asked have been more featured on the project itself. This one's featured about Toronto, and it has how it's been built up as a city. And so my question, it's going to be a multi-stage question, because I think the multi-stage questions work a little bit better to get sort of longer, more in-depth responses from you guys. So the first part of the question is going to be, do you think Toronto has done an adequate job in preserving and recognizing the historic builds within the city? If so, why? If not, why? And what do you think they could have, what do you think that they could do better to preserve and showcase the historic builds in the city? And what do you think they do really well? So I'm looking forward to seeing your responses. Like I said, this is a pretty in-depth question, so expecting a few longer responses, but that's really that. And I'm really happy with how the support on the channel has been going, and how the growth of this project's been going as well. Our builders have been working really, really hard to complete builds, and I have another couple projects that other builders have done that are pretty much ready to be showcased as well. So you should see a good amount of content coming out on the channel in the future. But that's pretty much everything for this video. Be sure to check out the plugs I plugged throughout the video. I like giving back to the things I use to make my content enjoyable, so be sure to check them out in the description down below. And that is going to be everything for this video. If you're new to the channel, like I said at the beginning, if you are enjoying, be sure to hit that subscribe button to catch future content. If you're a returning viewer and you enjoyed, be sure to hit that like and share the content with your friends or on your social media. It'd be a great help to help the channel keep growing and help make sure that other people who could potentially enjoy the content and the community we've created here are able to check out the channel as well. That is everything. Thanks again to Star for helping me build this project, and I'll catch you guys all next time. Have a good one.